Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Helen. As you may have seen from the title of this video, I'm going to be sharing about my experience living here in Canada. This video is coming as a response to a question somebody asked me. The person was asking me, do I think it's still worth relocating to Canada, that they heard that Canada is a scam? Now, if you've been online for some time, you've probably seen this narrative as well. So I wanted to share my own thoughts and my own experience. So what I'm going to do in this video is share 5 reasons why I think people say Canada is not worth relocating to, and at the end I'll share my own personal experience or my own personal point of view. Starting off strong, the number 1 reason is jobs. Pre-COVID, it was easy to get jobs. You could apply for jobs online and you get callbacks. You don't even need to apply. Sometimes people just reach out to you on LinkedIn or whatever profile that you have set up for yourself. It was like there were a lot of jobs in demand. But after COVID, we see that a lot of people have moved to Canada. Several people have migrated, and these people have degrees, they have experiences, they know what they're doing. So it has become a lot more competitive. Now, if you're just applying for jobs, maybe online and just waiting for a call back, chances are you may not be called back. I have seen several videos online talking about how they've been unable to get jobs for 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. It is a hustle right now. So this is kind of what's fueling this narrative of, oh no, don't bother going to Canada. There are no jobs in Canada. If you go, you'll be hungry and things like that. Even if you go to school, when you graduate, there will not be any jobs waiting for you. I also know people who have several degrees. If I remember, I was in church on Sunday when my pastor was saying, you don't need another degree, you have enough already. But I understand why people also try to get extra degrees, try to go to get one diploma, get one certification. It's just because they're trying to be more competitive in the market. And as it is now, it feels like if you're not in a skilled trade, you probably don't even stand a chance. So the industries that are making it big now are maybe construction, maybe agriculture. If you're somebody who is able to work with your hands, maybe you're a plumber, you are a truck driver, you work in the construction industry, you are a builder, you're an electrician. It feels like those are the people who are now highly in demand. Or if you're in the medical field, you're providing some form of healthcare service. Other than that, it's a struggle. So many people are competing for the same roles that you're seeing on LinkedIn, Glassdoor, or whatever. So there's this narrative of, oh, there are no jobs, there are no jobs, there are no jobs. It's now about if you know somebody, if you can get a referral, or if somebody in your network knows somebody that is hiring. It's giving nepotism at this point. The number 2 reason why I feel like a lot of people are saying Canada is not worth it is because of how expensive it is. The cost of living in Canada now is so high. And it's interesting because over the years, I have watched prices increase literally. Now, let's be fair. Inflation is happening everywhere. There's no nation that's not feeling the inflation. However, in Canada, things have gotten so expensive. Your groceries are now so expensive. Before, if I go to maybe Costco with $300, I'm living with a full cart. Now my $300 is just buying me my regulars, maybe like egg, milk, bread, things that you probably use during the week. Whereas before, that $300, I'm in luxury. I'm buying fish, I'm buying steak, and that kind of thing. I'm living the life. However, now it's not the same. Even when it comes to like your rent or your mortgage, houses are now so expensive. Apartments are so expensive. Houses that you could get before for maybe $1,500. If you're getting maybe like a 2-bedroom apartment, it's now $2,000 plus. You can't even see that. Well, at that 1.5, we're talking maybe basement apart. See, even basements, to even find basement of 1.5, it's almost impossible. So housing has become so expensive, especially if you live in a major city like Calgary, or if you're living in maybe Toronto, or even somewhere in BC, maybe Vancouver or whatever. These major cities are having a serious housing crisis. Houses are so expensive. People are just unable to find houses. You now find situations whereby students or maybe people who do not have good jobs are now sharing one house. Like 5 people can be in one basement apartment. It is now a serious struggle to get accommodation in this country. So people are now feeling like, especially students, they can't even get good jobs that they want. They can't even work the part-time jobs that they want. They can't even afford good accommodation. So there's a lot of information going on. It's now a serious concern for people, a number of people. The reason why I feel like a lot of people feel Canada is not worth it is because of the weather. One thing about Canadian weather is if you do not experience it, I cannot explain it in such a way that you can understand what I'm saying. Do you get what I mean? When I came to Canada, I used to live in Regina. And after living in Regina for about 2 years or less, I now moved to Calgary. So I have literally not lived in a place where it has been warm or considerably warm, like maybe BC. Calgary is cold. Regina is cold. There's no, like, the whole Alberta is cold. Saskatchewan is extremely cold. This month, in the month of February, Calgary was averaging us 25 degrees Celsius. And how do you explain that to somebody and they would understand? That's just like the actual temperature. Meanwhile, the real feel can go up to minus 35, there's no way you can explain that to somebody. So if you have not experienced the extreme cold in Canada, you would not understand what it means. The weather is cold. And then once the weather is cold, you really cannot do anything. You cannot go out. You cannot have time, for fun things. You just want to be indoors. And winters last a very long period of time. We don't just have winters from maybe November, December, January. No, I live in Calgary, like in the prairie regions. The winter starts from September. In Calgary, we have snow in September. So we're starting from September even till May. We're still going to have some snow, some really cold temperatures. So when you have those kinds of temperatures for a long period of time, it can get sad. It may just have some effect on your mental well-being and that kind of thing. And because of that, people just feel like, is it really worth it going to a country where the weather is so cold? I can't have time to enjoy myself, enjoy my family, enjoy the outdoors. What's really the point? This is and I see a lot of videos sometimes online where people say, it's minus 25 degrees. Look at the snow. I'm parking from my car this morning. Are you sure you want to come to Canada? Those videos kind of annoy me. However, I see people putting those videos online and just making you realize that it is really cold. Like, it is extremely cold. The fourth reason why people think Canada is not worth it is because of depression and loneliness. We've heard that Canada is boring. And for somebody like me who is an introvert, I just like to stay at home. Even for someone like me who likes to stay at home, I still think it's kind of boring. But what I've realized is in Canada or anywhere, basically, you have to intentionally create fun for yourself. If you are not making intentional attempts to create fun, you're going to fall into depression. Your mental well-being is going to suffer. Because first of all, like I said in the previous point, the winters last a long time. Imagine not having to go out for 6 months. There are people who, when they don't see sunlight, they just can't operate. They hate it. It gets dark pretty early. It gets bright very late. Those things have an effect on you that you may not realize. Now, let's imagine somebody who came here, don't have a lot of friends, you don't know people, and then you're now forced to stay indoors because of the weather or because there are no activities. Where I used to live in Nigeria, you don't need to know anybody to go for a party. It's like there's a party happening. Your friend can just tell you, oh, somebody is getting married, let's go. And you go, there's that whole communal lifestyle. We're always just going out. We're always having fun. There's always something happening that you can do. And that's why you see a lot of times people like to travel, maybe like in December, so that they can go and experience that whole partying, that whole fun activities, things to do. Because let's be truthful, those things do not really exist here in Canada. Even if they exist, they're going to be very expensive and they're going to be very hard to come by. So you want to go, you want to travel, you want to see places in Canada. It's expensive. I live in Calgary. To take a flight to Toronto and back and forth, it will be nothing less than $500. So you're thinking, is it really worth it? Because it's so expensive. Because of that, you're kind of forced to stay indoors and just maybe scroll social media, watch Netflix, or watch whatever subscription that you have, because there are no activities that are making you go out, dress up, look nice, go and socialize and meet with other people. It was in Canada I started hearing something like seasonal depression. I didn't know it was a real thing. In fact, I have never even heard of the term before, but I have come to realize that most times when it's winter, when your people have relocated, they're new, they don't have friends, they're new immigrants, they're trying to find their feet, they become depressed, they start crying on. I see several videos of people crying online, how they can't cope, they hate it here, people are not saying the real truth and things like that. Yes, those things are bound to happen when you move to a new place because you don't know people and then you do not know how to, yeah, you don't know how to socialize. Now, my number 5 and final reason why I feel people say Canada is not worth it is because the path to citizenship has changed. Before, if you come here as a student, maybe as an international student, after your school, you would have time to get a job. Maybe you have something called postgraduate work permit. You can get a job, and then maybe from there you get a work visa, and then from there you can apply for PR. You have to be studying some certain courses in order for you to even be able to get that whole work permit. It's very competitive now. We have so many students that have come into Canada in the space of 3-4 years. So that whole coming to Canada as a student pathway has been changed. That whole path has been changed, kind of restricted, so that you don't have so many students coming in. Now, if you want to get that whole benefit of coming in as a student and bringing in your family, you have to be doing some really serious courses. Maybe you have to doing something in healthcare. Maybe you're a medical student or you're coming in for a master's. Like it's not as easy as coming in for a diploma before or just coming in and then you can just stay. It's very competitive now. It's very hard. I was hearing sometime last year that a number of students were deported. So it's no longer as easy as it used to be. Yeah, even now, at coming as a permanent resident, you have to have family living here. You have to have a second degree, like an advanced degree. It's highly competitive and the scores are so high, it almost feels like it's impossible to attain. So there are so many restrictions that have gone into citizenship now, or even immigration now, and then people are just like, is it even worth all the stress and all the struggle to now go, and then when you finish your school you can't even get a job? It's a lot has really changed in the last 5 years that I have been here, right? So I can see why people are saying, oh no, it's not worth it, don't go to Canada. They are lying to you, they're not telling you the whole truth. Okay, so having said all of this, my own point of view, I'm gonna say I wouldn't say it's a scam, and I do not regret moving here. However, I'm not going to come here and discredit people's experiences or say, oh no, they are lying, or no, that didn't happen to them. I understand that they have experienced what they have. And I can actually also see that things have changed between when I came and now that we are here. My only advice would be, if you're still considering immigration, I want you to be aware that you may come in and you may not get a job like in 2 weeks or in 1 month or in 6 months even. You may have to get maybe a small job that you can just use so that you can pay your bills. And then maybe after a while, you may now stabilize somewhat, but it's not as easy as it used to be. So my advice would be, if you're still considering immigration to Canada, make sure that it's really worth it. Like you have done your research, you've done your findings, you have like a plan A, plan B, plan C, just in case things do not work out the way you have imagined it will work out. Secondly, I would like to advise that you come in as a permanent resident. The student pathway is a bit shaky right now. It feels like it's a lot harder than it used to be. But if you come in as a permanent resident, you stand a better chance, okay? Even when you're applying for jobs, because they always ask, oh, do you need any sponsorship? A lot of companies don't even want to sponsor people anymore. So if you come in as a permanent resident, you increase your chances of even getting a good job. So I would advise, if you're trying to come or if you're considering coming, maybe come in as a permanent resident so that you can be able to get a good job and be able to settle in faster. Honestly, I'm not going to lie, there are some things that I have done in this country that I probably would not have been able to do if I was living in, my home country. So I wouldn't sit down here and say, oh, it's been all bad. Has it been all good? No. There's no perfect country anywhere, okay? Every country has its good side and its bad side. So it's you now doing your research and picking which one you think works best for you and, doing your calculations. However, I don't think it has been totally bad living here. Are there rooms for improvement? Most definitely. If I see a better opportunity somewhere, will I move? Most definitely. But I don't think it's been totally bad. Yes, I have had to adjust. I have had to learn so many new things. I have had to be inconvenienced trying to settle in and stuff like that. But I would not say it has been totally bad. So let me know what you think. Are you considering moving to Canada or even any other country. In Canada, how has life been so far for you? Would you say, oh, it's not worth it? You think you would rather go back to your home country? What are your thoughts? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would ask that you please subscribe so that you can see more videos from me. You can please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed listening to me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.